Hare Krishna. I don't know if this is working. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I'm not sure if there's one. Haribo. Haribo. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Is it working? Haribo. Hare Krishna. So, thank you so much for coming this evening to the manor. At this time, we usually have a Bhagavad Gita class. We usually start at 6, but I was running a bit late, so I apologize for that. But today we'll be discussing Bhagavad Gita chapter 8, verse 26. So if you do have it on your phone, you could bring it up on weather-based on the internet. But before I start, I'm going to start off with a short kirtan, and then please do repeat, and then I'll say a prayers to seek blessings from Guru and everybody present here and online that I may say something useful. So yes, please do turn here if you can, and I'll sing a short prayer first, or kirtan first. Bhagwan ki Jai. Shri Gauranitai ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So again, today we're discussing Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, verse 26. So if you do have it on your phone, if you have the Gita on you, please do bring it up so you can follow along. So, before I start, I'm going to seek blessings from Guru, all the devotees present online and here that may say something useful. So starting off with short prayers again. So, Om Jnanatimirandasya Rananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manubhishtam Stapitem Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parchana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagat Pete Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakapatarubhyashcha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Please repeat after me. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So now reading chapter 8, verse 26 of the Bhagavad Gita. And I'll sing it once and I'll have one or two people if you'd like to repeat. I'll sing it line by line first. Shukla Krishna Gati Hiyete. Please repeat. Shukla Krishna Gati Hiyete. Jagata Shashvate Mata. Jagata Shashvate Mata. Jagata Shashvate Mata. Ekaya Yati Anavritatim. Ekaya Yati Anavritim. Ekaya Yati Anavritim. Anyaya Vartate Punaha. Anyaya Vartate Punaha. Anyaya Vartate Punaha. Would anyone like to try and lead? Shukla Krishna Gati Ete. Jagate Shasvate Mate. Ekaya Yati Amavritam. Anyaya Vartate Punaha. Thank you. Anybody else? No? If not, we'll go to the word-for-word translation. Please repeat after me. Shukla, light, Krishna, and darkness. Gati, ways of passing. He, certainly. Ete, these. Two, Jagat, of the material world. Shaswate, of the Vedas. Mate, in the opinion. Ekaya, by one. Yati, goes. Anavritim, to no return. Anyaya, by the other. Avartate, comes back. Puna, again. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. According to Vedic opinion, there are two ways of passing from this world. One in light and one in darkness. When one passes in light, he does not come back. But when one passes in darkness, he returns. So just going to break it up. So, according to Vedic opinion, please repeat. According to Vedic opinion, there are two ways of passing from this world. One in light and one in darkness. When one passes in light, he does not come back. But when one passes in darkness, he returns. Purport. The same description of departure and return is quoted by Acharya Baladev Vidyabhushana from the Chandogaya Upanishad 5.10 verses 3 to 5. Those who are fruitive laborers and philosophical speculators from time immemorial are constantly going and coming. Actually, they do not attain ultimate salvation, for they do not surrender to Krishna. So, in this verse, there are two main points. First, Prabhupada is saying that the fruitive laborers, which is the karmis, and the philosophical speculators, the gnanis, have been coming and going from time immemorial. In other words, Prabhupada is saying, if you become a karmi or a jnani, you cannot actually come out of this material world. So, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is very clearly explained by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami that those who take to the path of karma or gnani are drinking poison, knowingly or unknowingly. Because when you are too much attached to karmi life, this means working very hard and trying to enjoy the senses to the maximum. Srila Prabhupada explains that whatever amount of sense pleasure and enjoyment you keep on giving to your senses to satisfy them, they will always demand more and more, so it simply increases. It's like putting ghee on fire. It keeps on increasing. Our desires never satiate. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is explained that if a poisonous snake is given milk and bananas, its poison will increase more. So our senses are like serpents, small snakes. The more we try to give them enjoyment, the more they will get spoiled. So this is the condition of the karmis. As far as jnanis are concerned, they are still speculating. What is the absolute truth? They have not come to the level of understanding that Krishna is everything. Earlier in chapter 7, verse 19, it was said, Bahunam janmanam ante nanavam prapadyate Vasudeva Saramiti So Mahatma Sudullabha, which means, after many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. So to come to this level, one has to surpass the level of gnana, mental speculation, and such a person can engage in devotional service. So in other words, Prabhupada saying karmas and gnanis cannot be liberated. They'll come to this material world again and again because all their senses are not satisfied or satiated. It means you want to enjoy more sense enjoyment. And glanis means you go on speculating for years and years, reading so many scriptures and books, but don't engage in devotional service. So, in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 10, Prabhupada explains in the purport how as time goes, gnanis actually get confused and frustrated. And then because they're speculating the scriptures, but they don't understand, and end up taking some hallucinations like drugs and alcohol, smoking, and things like that, because they don't feel peaceful. And they may become detrimental and become completely against religion also. So neither the path of the karmis is good, and neither the path of the gnanis is good. So till one doesn't come to understanding that Krishna is everything by purification, which is nishkam bhakti, that without spiritual life, practically every living human being is as good as an animal, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. If he comes to religion, at least he becomes a religious person. So most religious people take to the path of karma kanda, which is better than remaining like an animal at least, because at least there's some religious understanding. But just remaining religious and associating yourself with a particular religion is not enough. Shri Radha Gokulananda ki jai. You have to go upwards. So as you go upwards from karma kanda, you go to karma yoga. Karma yoga means you do your karma for Krishna. And still, as you go further, you're bound to be drifted towards enjoying your karma or drifted towards mental speculation till you come to pure bhakti. And even in pure bhakti, before you come to this, there is sakam bhakti, where we think, what is in this for me? What advantage will I get? What will I gain from devotional service? In most cases, people want some material gains. And I could give you an example. Even as practicing devotional service, my motive for giving class, it could be, I'm doing it for popularity. Well, if that's the motive, that defeats the purpose. The motive should be to please Krishna. And that's like without any desire, so without any want in return, just wanting to please Krishna. Whether it goes well, it's up to him. If it doesn't go well, it's also up to him. And it doesn't, like, also singing kirtan for Krishna, it doesn't matter if anyone's in the temple room. It really doesn't matter. If you've got the deities, and that's the most important thing, right? So, and yeah, don't get demotivated if no one turns up and you think, okay, and you get someone popular and you think, okay, I'm not getting a chance when everybody turns up. But what are you doing the service for? Are you doing it for, wow, this person knows how to sing really well, or are you doing it for Krishna? And same with it doesn't matter if sometimes we get the person cleaning the temple room, the person cleaning the toilets, the person doing deity worship on the altar is equally dear to Krishna. There is no comparison, and we should never compare ourselves and think, why? And why is it that this person is getting more attention from the authorities? Like, what is our purpose? Because Krishna sees, if we're doing our service sincerely, Krishna values it equally. Just like in the Ramayana, when Hanuman and when Ram told the monkeys and everybody to build a bridge to Ayodhya, and the ants and the squirrels were trying to help, and the monkeys were making fun of the ants and squirrels, like, leave it to us, it's not going to be helpful because you could only move like a pebble. But Ram said no. Let the squirrels and the ants also help. and I'm equally pleased by their service and the attitude by which they're serving me. So Krishna doesn't see what we do, he sees the mood in which we do it. So, and that's really important. And so it is Sarkam Bhakti, right? So we should try and overcome this and come to Nishkam Bhakti. In most so like when one surpasses this, one comes to Nishkam Bhakti Yoga. Nishkam means only doing devotional service to please Krishna. And in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 19, verse 149, it talks about how, I'll state it, Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Eteva Shanta Bhukti Muti Siddhi Kami Shakaliya Shanta. And basically, this verse says, because a devotee of Lord Krishna is desireless, he is peaceful. Fruitive workers desire material enjoyments, Gnanis desire liberation, and yogis desire material opulence. Therefore, they are all lusty and cannot be peaceful. So how do you become peaceful? Simply try and satisfy Krishna and not ourselves, because we're never going to be satisfied. It's not possible. If we satisfy Krishna, we will automatically be satisfied, because that's our constitutional position. The constitutional position of our soul, or the dharma of our soul, is to serve Krishna. When we're not doing that, and we're trying to be the master, be the controller, because that's not our natural position, automatically we become frustrated, and we become frustration, depression. People go through depression. Actually, if they knew that there was Krishna, that wouldn't happen, because Krishna is our best friend and he's always there with us. And all we need to do is pick up our bead bag and chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So simple, You can't do that. Even a child could take part in this. It's such an easy process that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given to us. And just by doing this, we could go back to Godhead. It's so simple, So this means that when one becomes a devotee, one becomes peaceful. And this is called Nishkam Bhakti. And they'll be free from the cycle of birth, and that is guaranteed. There is no doubt. So we have to reach pure devotional service to come out of this cycle of birth and death. But how do we, now this verse talks about, the destination when we die. Right? It talks about, there's two ways of passing from this world. One in light and one in darkness. When one passes in light, he does not come back. But when one passes in darkness, he returns. Now this doesn't apply for a devotee. When we perform bhakti yoga, first of all, how do the purpose whenever the last thought that comes to our mind when you die is what we become in our next life, says the Bhagavad Gita. So what are we going to think of when we die? Sometimes we think that I'm too young to perform bhakti. It's this, and I'll practice it in the last 5 years of my life. But I know theoretically that, when I die, I need to remember Krishna, But during death, it's described like it's like 48,000 scorpions biting you. That is the pain. Now, when 48,000 scorpions are biting you, what are you going to remember? Are you going to be able to remember Krishna if you haven't remembered Krishna all your life? Is that possible? See, what you remember is what you're most attached to at the last moment, right? When you die. If you're attached to your money, that is what you remember. If you're attached to your wife, or husband, that is who you remember. But if you're attached to Krishna, you remember Krishna. So it's really important to practice, Krishna consciousness throughout life. And what does that mean? So Prabhupada says, try and chant 16 rounds of the Hare Krishna mantra. But if you can't do that, just try and chant whatever you can sincerely. Well, Prabhupada says, even in the scriptures, it says, even if you chant Hare Krishna, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra once, in a surrendered way even, that's guaranteed you go back to Godhead. So what we need to do is, we don't need to, like the Gnanis, we don't need to escape from reality and run away from our duties. And Krishna's not going to be happy if, say for example, tomorrow I get married, and it's my choice to get married. And if I run away, and I've got kids, and I run away to the temple and do some service and neglect my kids, because my first duty would be, and Krishna would want this, is that I give Krishna consciousness to my kids and make them devotees, and make sure that they're safe. If I go on neglecting that duty after choosing that path of Grihastha life, Krishna's not going to be happy. He's going to see, so what we do is we have to see our family as Krishna's family. And this, it's part of this is, seeing your home as Krishna's temple, having deities in the center of your house, and worshipping the deity as a family. So Krishna is the owner of the house. Performing kirtan together, reading the scriptures together, offering food to Krishna, prasad. Discussing the scriptures with each other, and trying to, and also in every activity actually. When you go shopping, the mentality, just need to change your mentality really. I'm making this for Krishna. What will Krishna like? Not what do I want, but what will Krishna like? And actually, Krishna consciousness is easy actually. It's just a change of consciousness. You use your car to come to the temple. You spiritualize your car. Another person would use their car to go to the pub. That's the mode of ignorance, right? But they're still using the car. It's the same vehicle. Like this, you could think of every aspect in our life and you could dovetail it to our Krishna consciousness. You may ask, work. How in the world am I going to dovetail work to Krishna consciousness? Well, you're working. If you're working, you could serve your family, which is Krishna's family. And you could give to charity. You could give to the temple. You could give to distributing books. You could give to all sorts of, to the cows. And you could give to charity. You could, as a grihastha, you could feed brahmanas. That's the duty. You could call people home. You could have satsang. You could, live an ideal life. And why is it important to be educated? Sometimes people are scared that if my child becomes Krishna conscious, they won't take up to the study seriously. But Krishna also will be pleased if, actually Krishna doesn't say give up your duty. Actually, we want to represent Krishna well. In this world, people have an idea that if you become religion, you run away from your duties. Not the case. And that represents Krishna in a very negative way. Actually, we want everybody to think that, if I go and get my master's tomorrow, and then I go out to work, and I'm a devotee. When I talk about Krishna, they will think, okay, this person is responsible, yet, is a nice person, and is practicing religion. So it's not this stereotype that if you practice religion, if you take up to religion, that you'll run away from your duties. And this is really important. So religion isn't an escape path, but we have to try and remember Krishna 24 hours a day, and that's how we will go back to Krishna and remember Krishna when we die. So where there is darkness, or where we are in ignorance, there is no Krishna. Where there is light, or where we're in spirituality, there is Krishna, and we don't have to come to this material world. So this darkness is or ignorance is breaking the rules and not following the four regs. But, even if someone is following the four regs and acting in the mode of goodness, but they don't have bhakti or drive philosophers, they still come back. So you have to perform Shuddha Sattva. So there's a difference between, the second thing is, the three modes that we could act in. Mode of ignorance, mode of passion, and the mode of goodness. And there's also Shuddha, pure goodness. When we act in the mode of, if we perform when you act in the mode of goodness even, if we perform karma, you have to get the fruits for that karma, right? You'll go to the heavenly planets. That's the verse before says that you go to the moon planet, if you perform lots of pious activity. But then after that pious activity has finished, the moon planet is still a material planet. After your pious activity has finished, you still have to come back to this material world, this earth, sorry. You have to come to the earth planet. You still have to come back. And that's because we could only go back to Krishna, we could only go back to Golok Vrindavan or Krishna when we have no karma. And you may ask, how do you do that? Very simple. By adding Krishna to your life, you could still do charity, but maybe give prasad, and, you're still feeding people, but give prasad, You do the same things, but add Krishna to your life. And in that way, we incur no karma. And when we incur no karma, and have no karma in our bank balance, that's when we are qualified to go back to Krishna in the spiritual world. So there's a beautiful verse in the Chaitanya Madhya Leela. It says, Krishna is compared to the sunshine and Maya is compared to darkness. Wherever there is sunshine, there cannot be darkness. As soon as one takes to Krishna consciousness, the darkness of illusion, the influence of the external energy, will immediately vanish. And Krishna says, promise in the Vedanta, Krishna, to even reassure us even more, Krishna says, if his devotee can't remember him when they die, Krishna will remember his devotee in the Vedanta Purana. It says, Yadi Vedati Doshena Madbhakto Mamna Jasmarat. Aham smarami madbhakta nayama paramam gatin. If my devotee is unable to remember me at the time of death because of disturbances felt within the body at the time, then I shall remember my devotee and take him back to my supreme abode, says the Vara Purana. So there's no loss in this process of bhakti. Even if for some reason you have a new life, Krishna promises that if you've performed bhakti, you'd either be born in a pious family or you'll be born in a devotee family. You have a chance and an opportunity to carry on. It's an eternal spiritual bank balance. Our money won't come with us when we die, but bhakti will. And Krishna reassures us that he will never let his devotees perish as well. And this verse talks about being surrendered to Krishna. So, in the final verse of the Gita, Krishna says to Arjuna, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. In other words, the all-merciful Lord wants to give us shelter and wants to protect us. It would seem simple. Surrender to God and we don't have to worry. Everything will be all right. Just what is the difficulty? Why don't we just surrender? And most thoughtful people will agree that surrender to the all-powerful, all-knowing God is a good idea. That surrender to the merciful God is the surest way to peace, wisdom, love, and eternal life. Yet we struggle with surrendering. So what does surrender actually mean? The dictionary definition of surrender is to give up possessions of something, to declare yourself defeated, to give in or relinquish or to submit. So how do we surrender? By relinquishing the false sense of self, the false ego, by declaring our defeat by Krishna's material energy and submitting to his superior energy or love personified. This is of course easier said than done. Actually, surrender to God is an expression of faith or trust in God, which culminates in love. Surrender means we accept God's word and his instructions coming through his pure servants and the bona fide scriptures. A preliminary step is just to give in or to agree to the idea of surrendering to God, to the idea of taking shelter of him, to just accept that surrendering to him, accepting his protection, is in our best interest and is the most significant thing that we could do. I should acknowledge that God loves me and that surrender to him is good for me and everybody else. Surrendering to Krishna is glorious in this way. So it's opposed to the material world where, accepting defeat in this material world has negative connotations, or renders one helpless or powerless. And it's sometimes even considered shameful in this material world. But actually, surrender to Krishna is the opposite. It's glorious. Surrender to Krishna means taking shelter of the supreme lover of all of us, who is willing and able to protect us. And I'm mindful of time. So the definition there's two things I want to say. So there's Bhaktivedanta, he's saying Bhaktivedanta Manor says, looking within to find opportunities to grow is part of surrender. And here's an excerpt from Surrender, The Key to Eternal Life by Bhaktivedanta Swami. He says, if we fully understand our faults, then we will not be in the material world in the first place. Krishna in the heart, and through Sadhu, Shastra, sacred scriptures, and Guru, constantly shows us what it is that we need to adjust in ourselves. Humility is so significant that its presence or absence indicates perfectly the degree of a devotee's advancement. One who constantly looks within to see what has to be eliminated will quickly advance. Elimination is essential because we are already eternally connected with Krishna. We are pure, but this purity is covered over. Our spiritual life basically involves uncovering. It is that simple and that difficult. When our faults are revealed, what do? Some people who are sleeping will become angry. When you wake them up, they want to be left alone. For this reason, when Krishna comes, most people do not know his real identity. They miss out because they do not want to accept that they are prisoners in a world of illusion. So, we have many excuses to surrendering to Krishna. Time and time again, we're reminded that we make mistakes. Our senses are imperfect. We're sure to be illusioned, and we have the tendency to cheat or pretend that we know something we don't, or that we are someone we aren't. And I'm really mindful of time, but the scriptural definition of surrender that's given is that the 6 things that we do. The 6 aspects to surrender, and these are: accepting everything favorable to serve the Lord, giving up everything unfavorable for serving the Lord, having a firm conviction that only Krishna can protect oneself, always accepting Krishna as one's maintainer, always being conscious that one is not independent in fulfilling their desires or dedicating one's life to Krishna's service, and always humbly thinking of oneself as most fallen, so that Krishna will take care. So these are the 6 limbs of surrender or Sharanagati, and we should try and strive to aim for these. And in light of time, does anyone have any questions, comments, or corrections? If not, I hope that was helpful, and thank you so much for coming, and please forgive me for any mistakes I made. Hare Krishna.
Chandre Arati Kasho